morning, Malacanang Press Corps. Welcome. Happy Monday. Let's now have Presidential Spokesperson and Chief Presidential Legal Counsel, Salvador Panel.
Good morning, MPC and guests. Do you want me to read the memorandum of agreements or you want me to just give you a copy? Copy na lang, ha? But there are about 19 of them. Nine. Oh, sige. Okay. Shoot.
Questions, MPC.
Shoot that ball.
Tuesday New. Microphone.
Hi, sir.
Yes, hi.
Sir, the president, before he went to China, said that he is going to send some dismissal letters to officials of MWSS. Anong update dun, sir? Sino-sino yung mga official na yon at na-send na po ba yung dismissal letters na yon?
Wala pa akong feed doon. Wala pa.
Nothing.
Wala pa. And wait for the announcement na lang.
Sabi niya, sir, this week, mangyayari
Pwede.
kaya yon?
Siguro. This week pala, di antayin natin. Sinabi niya ba dismissal order?
Yes, sir.
O di antayin na lang natin. Anytime between now and Friday siguro.
Any update, sir, doon sa report ng MWSS na sinubmit nila kay Presidente?
O di ibig sabihin, kung sinabi niya yung dismissal order, di yun, di yun. Yun ang feedback. That will be the result of the report. Di ba?
Follow up si Ace. Okay na Tuesday, Ace.
So, kasi ang sinabi ni Presidente, I will be issuing several dismissal orders.
Wala siya sinabing
Although, parang wala namang
MWSS.
sinabing
Wala naman
specific.
pala, ganito
Pero, ano yung update? Pinag-aaralan pa ba yung study? Kasi April 22, sabi dati ni Cabinet Sec.
Nung huling kausap ko siya, sinabi niya pinag-aaralan niya yung report. Yun ang
Kailan
sabi.
yun, Sec?
Just before we left.
So under study pa rin. Okay, Sec. Salamat po.
Okay, Henry, follow up? Okay, Henry.
Secretary,
Henry,
sinabi raw ni President Xi Jinping na hindi niya kinikilala ang desisyon ng tribunal pabor sa Pilipinas. Paano eksakto niya sinabi ito?
matagal niya na sinasabi yun, di ba? Ever since naman yun, naman ang linya nila eh.
Pero during the meeting with the President, paano niya ito
I
binanggit?
forgot the exact words, pero parang, basta pareho lang sinasabi ng dalawa. They repeated their previous stand. But, what is more important is that, kasi sabi ni Presidente, there have been irritants because of that ruling. And both of them agree that the mechanism of bilateral relations will be used to resolve the conflict.
Is that the next step? Ito yung sunod na gagawin ng palasyo, yung pakikipag-bilateral.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Wala nang iba ho na tayong aasahang...
For now,
Takbang ng
yun
palasyo.
ang napag-usapan.
Okay. Mayroon bang binanggit si President Xi Jinping na paaalisin niya yung mga puwersa sa Scarborough Shoal, ganoon din ho sa Pag-asa Island?
Wala siyang binanggit na gano'n. Basta kasi binanggit ni Presidente, irritant. So it refers to everything there. From the presence of the ships, from the alleged harassment, lahat yun. Irritants eh.
Wala pong timeline kung kailan lilisanin.
Wala silang binanggit na timeline.
Alright, thank you.
Okay, Nestor, and then Deo and Ace.
Sir, you were there during the bilateral meeting. What were the exact words of the president when he raised the South China Sea issue?
Yun nga, sinabi niya there have been irritants arising from that ruling. And there will be challenges. Yun. Kung ano yung statement ko, yun. I was actually quoting them.
Did he tell Chinese President Xi Jinping his previous statement for Chinese maritime militia to lay off Pag-asa Island?
Hindi, basta yun ang pagkasabi niya. Kasi pag sinabi mo kasing irritants and challenges, yun na yun. It refers to everything na conflict.
Okay, Deo?
Sa Secretary, the Chinese President Xi Jinping said, yung sinabi po ni Henry, na hindi nila kikilalanin yung arbitration, and the Philippine government is saying that we won that arbitration. Hindi po ba natin ito yung makaiko-consider as a deadlock doon sa issue na ito or a future problem doon sa
Hindi naman.
issue?
The fact na sinabi niya na we will resolve that in the bilateral negotiation. So, di ibig sabihin open sila.
Kasi sir, yung dalawang bansa ay nagmamatigas doon sa kanilang statement. So, who do you
Hindi
see
mo rin
would give in?
masabing nagmamatigas kasi sinabing open eh. So when you open yourself to negotiation relative to whatever irritants or challenges that are raised in relation to the ruling, then ibig sabihin, malambot sila. Pareho.
So you see,
Pag-uusapan nila.
so you see Chinese government will be malleable doon sa issue.
The fact alone na sinasabing, let's discuss sa ating negotiation, sa bilateral.
Thank you, sir.
Ace?
Sec, how did the President respond to President Xi when the Chinese leader said they do not recognize the arbitral ruling?
Hindi. Yun naman, basta both sides repeated their previous position on the matter. And they both agree na whatever irritants or challenges, pag-usapan natin sa negotiation.
So nung sinabi ni Xi, we don't recognize, what was the immediate response of the President? Nung pagkasabi ni President Xi
Hindi
na,
ko na
we don't-
maalala kung sino ang nauna, basta parehong, yun ang na-raise pareho.
pero yung manner of speaking ni President Duterte, he has been delivering parang tough
Ayun,
statements.
same style. Si
Ganon din yung
Presidente naman,
pagkakasabi.
the President is always respectful. Ever since napansin ko sa kanya. Pagkakausap niya mga heads of state, pareho sila, they're all respectful.
But did the Chinese President give a guarantee na aalis na sa pag-asa?
As
Yung
I said
ships.
earlier, hindi nila pinag-usapan yung detalye. Basta si Presidente nagsabi, maraming irritants. So he refers obviously to what you're referring to now.
Walang specifics like panatag, parang in general, lahat ng naging discussion.
Wala, basta irritants and challenges. Yun. It refers to everything
Okay, Sec. Salamat po.
that has been talked about.
Ina, Argel, and RJ.
Sir, yung context po ng pagsabi ni President Xi that he does not recognize the arbitral ruling, was it said because the President talked about the arbitral ruling, raised it, or perhaps called for its enforcement?
Hindi ko na matandaan yung basta ang importante sa akin kasi both of them raised that issue and both of them agree on how to resolve the irritants and challenges that are being confronted on both sides.
Did President Duterte, just a categorical answer, sir, did the President call for the enforcement of the arbitral ruling?
Ang pagkasabi niya, there have been many irritants
So he did not.
outside arising from the arbitral ruling. Yun.
By saying that, was the
By
President...
saying that, sinasabi niya na, marami tayong problema dito. Anong gagawin natin dito?
How
Dahil
about...
ang posisyon namin ganito. Sa yung kabila naman, ang posisyon namin dito ever since ganito rin. Di pag-usapan natin. Hindi, yun na nga, bilateral na nga kagad eh. Kasi meron tayong regular bilateral, doon nila ipapasok yun.
Dun sa issue, sir, specifically of enforcing the
That will
ruling.
be discussed there. Siyempre,
Okay.
doon mo na yun. Specific na ron.
Okay. Sir,
Kasi
yung...
sa bilateral, general ang usapan palagi. Binabasa lang nila both of them are reading their messages.
Okay. Sir, yung bilateral negotiations, this have been going on for a while now. Ano po ang bago dito?
Hindi ko alam kasi yan. That's the turf of DFA Secretary. You have to ask that question to him. Mas alam niya yun.
But how would the palace assess the bilateral negotiations that have been happening basically since the start of the Duterte administration, considering that despite the negotiations, incidents, yung irritants have happened?
Well, tingnan natin. We'll wait for the next bilateral negotiations kung anong pag-uusapan.
Or are you still referring to the BCM?
What's this here?
BCM, sir, yung bilateral consultative mechanism. Again, I'm asking because, sir, what's new with the so-called agreement to speak or to deal with a territorial dispute through bilateral negotiations when
Siguro, ang
it's
pag-uusapan
always
nila
been the
ngayon,
policy?
ang pag-uusapan nila ngayon yung specific areas of irritants, kung ano yung mga ni-raise.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Argel, RJ, then Celerina, Nestor.
Sir, good afternoon po. Sir, what were the results of President Duterte's meeting with other ASEAN leaders during the Belt and Road Forum?
I have not seen the transcript kasi wala ako doon. I did not attend those meetings with the other heads of state.
Sir, thank you.
RJ.
Sir, is the President keen on declaring some parts of the West Philippine Sea as marine protected areas?
O hindi ba he already said that?
But do we need consent from China?
No.
Why?
What do you mean consent? As far as we are concerned, that's ours. You didn't have to ask any consent from
But
anyone.
they also claim that some territories are theirs. So do we need their consent?
Hindi nga eh. Yan ang claim nila. Ang claim din naman natin.
So how do we deal with that since
O edi magne-negotiate tayo. Babalik tayo sa negotiation.
we will negotiate with them for declaring
Hindi, kasi
these
that is
areas
again
as marine
that
protected
will be
areas?
another irritant. Mangyayari yan. If you declare a particular stand and they will declare another stand, o di may deadlock, o di mag-uusap na naman tayo.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Celerina. Nasa microphone sa likod mo, Nestor, please.
Sir, follow up lang dun kay Inang question. So, how would you convince the Filipino people that something good would happen with these bilateral talks between the two?
Hindi yung convince. What we should do is wait for the negotiations and the result of the negotiations. Saka tayo magre-report sa taong bayan. Hindi natin kukumbinsin. Ano ba ikukumbinsin mo? Hindi pa nga nag-uusap eh.
But sir, sir,
Tungkol sa
nag-uusap
bagong,
na.
oo.
Sir,
Tungkol sa
nag-uusap
mga,
na.
no. Tungkol sa mga bagong issues na na-raise.
But sir, yun na nga,
Hmm.
meron ng bilateral and yet may mga actions na ginagawa ang China which is
O,
apparently
hindi yun ang sasabihin natin sa
violation
kanila.
of that.
Meron na tayong pinag-usapan. Bakit nangyayari pa yan? Di ba?
So,
Anong gagawin natin dito? Ganito na lang ba tayo?
so kailangan pa ba nating pagkatiwalaan ng China?
Sabi nga ni President Xi, and the President of ours agreed, we are allies. Allies strengthen each other. Allies do not destroy each other. So maganda yung kanyang statement na ibig sabihin, kung allies tayo, pag-usapan natin. Kailangan.
Pero sir, oo nga, pero more on words but not on deeds.
Hindi. Siyempre, saan ba nag-uumpisa ang action? Kundi sa words muna. Di ba? Ganun talaga. Nag-uumpisa ka
Pero
pala.
the opposite yung ginagawa
Basta
ng China.
what is important, the President is very assertive on our principled stand that territory is ours.
Okay, Nestor, Ace, then Chona.
Secretary, we have had several bilateral negotiations between the Philippines and China, and President Duterte and President Xi has previously agreed, aside from the agreement they made during the bilateral meeting, had previously agreed to practice self-restraint and caution in the South China Sea. But despite this agreement, China has been aggressive in the South China Sea in terms of swarming the Pag-asa Island, in terms of sending maritime militia. So why does the Philippine
Teka
government...
muna, alam mo, we don't even know yet their stand there. Yung swarming, yung kung vessel nga nila yun, kung ganito.
The DFA and the military has confirmed that it was a Chinese
The-
from our part, sir.
Hindi DFA. Ang sinasabi ko sa inyo, nag-protest tayo, di ba? So hindi ko pa alam kung anong sagot nila doon. Kung they affirm it o hindi. Yung sa CLAM, ganun din. Hindi ko pa alam kung in-affirm nila.
But on our part, sir, the military and the DFA has confirmed that it was...
No, I don't think so.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sa Westcom, kaya po tayo nag-file ng protest kasi na-confirm po natin, sir.
Hindi. Ang ibig sabihin, yun, ang sinasabi ko, hindi pa kino-confirm ng DFA kung anong response nila doon. Are they going to deny it? Are they going to dispute it or not? You get my point? Kasi, teka muna, masyado kayo.
Ace.
Yun ang reklamo natin, di ba? Sabi natin, oy, may mga barko kayo doon. Oy, may mga milisya kayo doon. Hindi ko pa alam kung anong sinagot nito. Kasi pwede sabihin lang, amin yun. Ano ngayon? Pwede rin naman sabihin, teka muna, hindi amin yun, ha? Hindi ko pa alam yun, eh. So let's wait for their official response with respect to our protest. Yan ang sinasabi ko sa inyo. Yung sinasabi niyo namang ibang bilateral, ano pinag-usapan nun? Tandaan nyo, yung bilateral negotiations, hindi lang naman yung arbitral ruling yung pinag-uusapan. Ang dami pa tayong pinag-uusapan, mga negosyo. Baka yun ang mga pinag-uusapan nila nun.
Sir, previously you mentioned na you are expecting the Chinese government to respond to our protests within days.
Yes, hindi ko pa alam because I'm not the DFA secretary. So I do not have any access to him with respect to that. I have to get an official stand of any response coming from the Chinese government. That has not been transmitted to us as of this time.
Okay, Ace.
So Sec, ganito na lang. Kasi marami nagtatanong, apparently the two
Sama ka na ron.
presidents, the two presidents made similar statements, sabi niyo, parang inulit yung position, and then may mga bagong developments na uulat like yung sa Pag-asa, yung sa Panatag. So ano yung new measures na gagawin ng Pilipinas to ensure na kung hindi man mahinto altogether, mabawasan yung new developments or irritants as you call it dun sa South China Sea?
Ulitin ko yung sinagot ko kanina. We raise certain protests. Hindi pa natin alam kung they're affirming or they're disputing it. Kasi kung i-dispute nila, usap tayo. Ibig sabihin, hindi totoo. We have to show us proof na hindi nga kayo yun. Ano ba yun? Sino ba yun? Ba't nandun yun? Ano bang ginawa nyo doon? Di ba? Hindi pa natin nga alam eh.
Kung hindi na sumagot.
Ay, pwede ba hindi sumugot? May protesta tayo. They will.
Pero but definitely, coming from the armed forces, coming from the DFA, we are convinced of what we saw there, di ba?
Basta yan ang stand natin. Kaya nga tayo nagprotesta. Otherwise, hindi tayo magpuprotesta.
Sige po.
Okay, Chona, then Ina. Microphone po.
Sir,
Chona,
ang bottom line dito, meron bang...
gigising mo na naman ako. Sa Beijing naman ako, ginigising mo
Ano sa
ako.
Beijing ka paghapon? Sir, ang bottom line, meron bang movement after the bilateral meetings between President Xi?
Hindi ang magiging movement yung negotiation. Pag-uusapan na nila yung mga irritants. Pero sa akin, kung ako tatanungin nyo, we have to wait for their official response dun sa nireklamo natin. Ano bang sagot nyo ron? Hindi ko pa alam kung may sagot na from the DFA. I haven't talked to Teddy Boy. Luxin. Diba sabi niya, I fired a salvo of protests. I don't know whether those salvo of protests have been responded to, whether affirmatively or negatively.
Sir, follow up. Why is the president seem so soft with
Soft?
Oo,
Soft ba
when it
yung
comes to...
na-assert mo yung ano mo? How can
No,
that
I
be
mean,
soft?
with kasi as you have said earlier, the president was so respectful when he had a meeting with Chinese presidency. Whereas dito sa Canada, he even threatened to go to war, considering na basura lang over
Unang-una yung go
territorial
to war,
dispute.
figure of speech yun. Pangalawa, basura naman. Basura lang yun. Hindi naman teritoryo yung
Kaya nga,
pinag-uusapan
sir.
doon eh.
But
Oh.
why is the president, sabi mo nga kanina, respectful pa during the meeting?
Lahat
Tapos-
naman sila respectful. All heads of state are respectful. Wala akong nakita rin na hindi respectful. Kasi they just deliver their messages by reading them. May mga prepared speeches na sila. Pero hindi siya soft. Assertive nga siya.
Okay, Ina. Last two on China, Ina and then Henry.
Sir, dun sa paghihintay po ng official response
Yes.
ng China regarding the protest, are you saying that if China says that no, those are not Chinese vessels, we're gonna accept that as truth?
Di bahala na yung nasa negotiating table natin kung sabihin, excuse me, kami as far as we're concerned. Eto yan, hindi kami papayag.
Okay.
Hindi naman ako nandun eh. So,
Okay.
hindi ko alam kung ano sasabihin nila. But we will not. Siyempre. Kung as far as we're concerned, totoo yun eh, bakit mo i-dispute?
Okay. And when
Do something about it.
you said
Kasi,
that,
even assuming that they are not. As far as we are concerned, sa inyo yan. O gawan nyo ng paraan. Kung hindi pala sa inyo yan, with more reason, you can do something about it. Kasi kung you claim to be that is your territory, that means you have authority over that area. And if you have authority, you can do something about it. Remove them from there.
So when the president talked about the irritants, as you mentioned, and you said that that includes the issue of Chinese presence in Pag-asa, how did the Chinese president react to that, or the Chinese side react to that?
Yun na nga, di ba sinagot ko na nga yun. They repeated their previous stand, ever since naman yun, stand nila. At the same time, they're open to resolving whatever irritants we have
Okay.
by way of negotiations.
Okay. Yung negotiations, sir, I'm not sure if you're aware. Yung sinasabi ko pong BCM kanina, the Bilateral Consultative Mechanism, you're saying kasi baka other things yung napag-uusapan
Yes.
doon sa negotiations na yun. But I'd like to point out that that mechanism was actually established to specifically talk about the territorial dispute.
Oh, but you cannot limit it to that.
No, sir, that specific forum was
Correct,
launched
I
in
agree.
2017.
If that was
for
created for that purpose, but it doesn't mean you will confine yourselves to that. Because since you're talking to the other side, you can raise anything there.
Okay.
Parang yan nagbukas ka ng constitution na i-amen mo. Pwede ba i-limit mo yan? Nandiyan na tayo, nag-uusap na tayo eh.
But again,
And
specifically...
you must remember, arbitral ruling nga yun eh. Ang pag-uusapan nyo, di papasok lahat ng mga whatever irritants. Kasama lahat yun.
Oo nga, sir. So ano po ang...
Kasama na rin pati negosyo doon. Everything.
No, actually, I'd like to point out, sir, that mechanism was
I know what you
established-
mean, but I'm telling you, kahit kung ako nandun at nilimit mo lang, ay lalabas ko pa rin yun. Pag-usapan naman natin yung iba. Tayo nandito na tayong dalawa. Lang naman mag-create pa tayo ng ibang mekanismo eh. Nandito na tayo eh.
Okay, so but initially the purpose is to discuss the territorial dispute, anong nangyari? Because
Ay,
again,
you
how
have
would
to ask,
we...
you have to ask Secretary Lu. I don't want to preempt him. Baka ibang kanyang sagot doon kasi siya ang doon eh.
Okay. Because again, they agreed to resolve it through bilateral negotiations, which we have been doing. So there's really nothing new with that. Tama po ba?
Hindi.
Bakit hindi
You have
po?
to ask nga Secretary Luxin kasi that's his territory. Hindi ko alam kung anong diskarte niya ron.
Okay,
We have
thank
to
you, sir.
wait for his report, official report.
Okay, last on China, Henry.
Yeah. Secretary, sa negosasyon, ano ang mga ilalatag na kondisyones ng Pilipinas naman sa pakikipag-negotiate dito sa issue na ito?
Doon sa negotiation, kung ano yung irritants, yun ang pag-uusapan nila.
Like what?
Ano ba yung irritants na nandun, di ba? Di ba? Pinoint out na nga, kung ano yung diplomatic protest, yun ang pag-uusapan nila.
So walang mababago. Kung ano yung isinampang protesta, yun pa rin ang ine-negotiate natin.
Ano yung walang pagbabago? Hindi ba mga bago lang itong
Oh yeah,
itong
I mean,
mga incidents na
walang
to? Di yun ang
amendments.
pag-uusapan.
No amendments on the protests.
What?
No amendments. Kung ano na yung
Kung
protestang...
kung merong bago na naman, di magre-reklamo na naman tayo.
Ano expectation ng Palace?
O edi, syempre, we're positive na magkakaroon ng resulta yung negotiation.
Alright, thank you.
Okay, other issue na. Celerina?
Sir, I just want to get your statement regarding the abdication tomorrow of Emperor Akihito and the succession
The
of
what? Coronation?
abdication po ni
Abdication.
Oho,
The coronation naman ng isa. Kasi
on the
nag-abdicate
following
eh.
day naman. So I just want to get your statement on that, the
Wala
palace
pa.
statement.
We'll issue a statement. Official statement.
Offhand, wala.
Hindi na, wala. Mas maganda yung official para hindi, hindi unclear.
Sir, within the day.
Okay, Deo, then Joyce.
Morning ulit, Secretary.
Ay.
Basahin ko na lang. The International Chamber of Commerce sa Singapore has decided in favor of Malampaya Consortium regarding the $1.1 billion tax case. And Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, who is the chairman of the Senate Committee on Energy, said that the decision is beneficial to the country as it will now encourage foreign players in conducting petroleum explorations in the Philippines. He said that the government should aggressively pursue drill program for the country to tap its oil and gas resources and use them to achieve energy-independent Philippines and eventually give way to the country to become an energy exporting country. Does the Malacanang concur with the statement of Senator Gatchalian that the decision of ICC is beneficial to the country? And what will be the thrust of the government with regard to the oil and gas exploration relative to what the President said that oil is everything?
With regard to your question, I have not read the decision, so I cannot make any response to that. I need to read that first. Hindi ko pala, hindi,
Sir, wala bang papantay man lang dun sa...
hindi ko, hindi ko pa nababasa yung decision eh.
Sir, I believe you had a statement 2 years ago that
About
doon po sa tax case ng Malampaya Consortium.
tax case?
Yes, sir. And I think that was struck down by the
Anong tax
OSG.
case yun? What tax
OSG.
case was that?
Sa ano po? Sa Malampaya.
Ano bang problema sa tax nun?
Sir, kasi
don't
po,
remember.
ang yung COA po, sinisingil po nila yung mga contractors, yung mga nag-explore ng tax. And then that was disputed by the Malampaya Consortium and umabot po sila sa Singapore ICC and then ICC decided in favor of Malampaya Consortium.
Na pwede
hindi-
mangolekta
Na
ng tax?
hindi po sila dapat daw kinokolektahan ng tax, na dapat po sa government part yun na pupunta. And Senator Win
So
Gatchalian,
nanalo yung
Malampaya, sir.
hindi nanalo ang gobyerno.
Yes, sir. And then ang sabi po kasi ni Senator Gatchalian, yun po ay beneficial sa country dahil with what the President said na dapat tayo'y
Bakit
mag-explore.
beneficial kung nanalo yung kalaban?
Kasi po sir, ang sinasabi po ni Senator Gatchalian, yung pong project, yung pong pagsisingil ng tax na yon ay deterrent sa mga international oil players para po makapag-explore ng oil and gas dito sa atin.
Kailangan ko muna yung decision. And then I'll issue a statement. Official.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Joyce.
Sir, on ouster plot matrix, days after it was published by the Manila Times, yung managing editor nila na si Felipe Salvosa resigned. And I'll just quote what he said in an article. A diagram is by no means an evidence of destabilization or an ouster plot. It is a very huge stretch for anyone to accuse PCIJ, Vera Files, and Rappler of actively plotting to unseat the president. I know the people there, and they are not coup plotters. What do you say, sir? The managing editor is denying that the matrix that was published by the Manila Times.
Does he have a personal knowledge on the Auster plot?
He's just said, sir.
No, my question to you, does he have a personal knowledge? Because if he doesn't have a personal knowledge, then he would not know anything about it.
Sabi lang niya, sir, that he knows the people in
he
those
knows
organizations.
Kahit pa ba he knows the people, how would he know kung involved now in that? Diba?
So, what do you think of his resignation as the managing editor of the Manila Times?
He was asked to resign. I talked to Dante Ang. I was asking him, bakit nag-resign? He did not resign. I asked him to resign. So I go, why? Why? Eh, sabi niya, he was accusing me of making a story out of that. Eh, I was only naman quoting. Kumbaga, hindi naman galing sa akin. Just writing a story. Next, sabi niya, he was accusing me of unethical act. Eh, ano ba yung ginawa niya? Yun ang unethical. Without even talking to me, he was already accusing me of something. So I asked him, I want your resignation. And he resigned. Sabi naman ng Salvosa, anyway, intended to resign naman. Yun naman sabi niya. So I think it's an internal dispute between the publisher and the editor, and we will not delve into that. Let them resolve their conflict.
Sir, regarding to sa matrix, you said in our previous press briefing here na yung isa sa mga source of information natin is probably another country
Wala akong
who's doing
sinabi. Kayo nagsabi niyan.
surveillance.
Sabi niyo, sabi ng
Doing
Presidente.
surveillance, sir? Nabanggit
Sabi
niyo?
niyo, sabi ng Presidente. Kaya sabi ko naman, they usually exchange intelligence information. Baka doon galing.
Okay, sir, sa previous speeches na lang ni President Duterte, he himself admitted na meron siyang nakukuhang information, surveillance information from other countries. Vice President Leni Robredo in an interview...
Wala naman siya sinabing, may nakuha siya information surveillance. Sinabi niya, yung source niya,
Intelligence.
pwedeng, wala nga eh, tinignan ko yung speech niya, pwedeng foreign. Tingnan niyo ulit yung speech niya. Ha?
Said it before, sir.
Ano? Sinabi niya lang foreign.
Yeah.
Pero wala siya sinasabing surveillance.
So, ano nakukuha? We are being listened to.
Then let's
Binabanggit
ask
niya
the
yun.
President himself.
Okay.
Aba eh, sa kanya galing, di naman sa akin galing.
This, sir,
I'm only his agent, remember?
regarding that na
So
lang.
we'll ask him. In fact, he told me, they have questions, tell them to ask me.
Sinabi po ni Vice President Leni Robredo na it is treason, considered treason for the President to allow a foreign country to spy on the Filipino people.
Well, the Vice President is entitled to her opinion. It's a democratic country. She is free to express her opinion and her ideas.
But you're not convinced, sir, or you're, of course, defending the President. It's not treason.
It's not. It's an exchange of intelligence information, and all countries do that.
So it's not a violation of the Constitution or any applicable laws. The
Yung sharing of
exchange.
intelligence
Yes.
information, I don't think so. Sharing of intelligence information.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, follow-up, Rose.
Ay, good afternoon, sir. Sir, after almost 2 weeks nung inilabas yung matrix,
Kasi, tingnan mo na, alam mo yung sharing of intelligence information, hindi rin namang ibig sabihin, nagsosurveillance yung mga yon. Pwede rin naman nagaling sa atin, sinabi dun sa, di ba, may mga agents naman yung mga, kanya-kanila mga agents sa bansa. O, pwede rin galing dito, kung sino man ang nagbigay sa kanila, sinare sa atin. Di ba? So, doesn't follow na surveillance.
ay sir, good afternoon. Sir, almost 2 weeks na po mula nung lumabas yung matrix. Alam na po ba ng palasyo kung sino yung nasa likod ni Bicoy? Kasi po yung matrix, ang parang lumalabas, yung nag-share lang ng mga video ni Bicoy eh. Eh sino po yung nagmaniobra kay Bicoy o sino yung nasa likod niya?
I'll ask him.
Kasi po yun, di ba, yun yung mas yun yung may pakana ng ouster plot kaysa yung mga nag-share lang ng video.
That's why I'll ask him kung meron ng latest doon. Kasi iniimbestiga, di ba? Sabi ng PNP, it will investigate.
Thank you.
Follow-up, Ace.
Sek, medyo interesting lang yung mga intelligence reports kasi na-identify yung mga nag-share ng mga videos ni Bicoy, pero si Bicoy parang hindi pa nila alam kung sino siya.
O, hindi, antayin natin yung ma-discover kung sino siya.
Kasi di ba usually pag intelligence ang tinitignan yung root cause nung lahat-lahat nun, di ba? If I'm not
Sige,
mistaken.
recommenda kita na one of the intelligence
In the sec,
agents
so
para-
meron na bang
Wala
information?
pa, kasi hindi ba iniimbestigahan daw ng PNP. Di ba
So,
sabi ni General Belli, we will investigate.
So inuna muna yung mga nag-share.
Basta, let's wait for the full-blown investigation.
Sige, salamat, Sek.
Okay, other issue muna tayo. Si Tina, then Cedric, RJ, then Virgil.
Sir, good afternoon.
Hi.
Sir, so far 32 OFWs from Libya have been repatriated. And then our Philippine Embassy in Tripoli are appealing na to the remaining Filipinos there na umuwi na dahil nag-intensify po yung tension doon. Does Malacanang share the same sentiment?
The Secretary of Labor is on top of it.
Yun lang,
May
sir.
directive na si Presidente sa kanya. So, kung ano man directive sa kanya, ina-apply niya lang. Ini-enforce.
Alright, sir. Thank you.
Cedric?
Sir, good afternoon. Sir, may I ask first if you have read the report released by Ateneo, yung drug archive na supposedly 7,000 deaths daw, drug-related deaths, sir.
Hindi pa.
So may I suppose...
I only read about it, but I didn't read the entire report.
Sir,
But if that report is true, it only means something. It only means na hindi totoo yung mga sinasabi ng opposition and other agencies sa Amerika o kahit ano pa na 20,000, yung pala 7,000 lang.
Yung discrepancy na yun, sir.
Wala. Di ibig sabihin na laking discrepancy. Pangalawa, yun ang nga ang sinasabi natin ever since yung mga sindikato, sila nagpapatayan din nadadagdagan. Hindi ako naniniwala na meron sigurong 1 or 2, gaya ng prinosecute na natin, na-convict pa nga. Pero yung sinasabing, basta mo papatay, hindi pa pwede. Otherwise, ba't ang daming patay na pulis? Ba't ang daming seriously injured? 700 plus. Ibig sabihin talagang lumalaban yun.
Sir, how about, sir, yung timing ng release? Any comment on it, sir? The timing of the release?
Release ng?
Nung report, sir.
Wala naman They can always release anytime they want. Ganyan naman dito sa atin
Thank you, sir.
Okay, RRJ?
Sir, Mr. Dante Ang is the special envoy for international public relations for the president. What does he specifically do?
Hindi ko alam. I don't know. Hindi naman ako nag-appoint sa kanya.
Are they friends?
I have no personal knowledge about the appointment.
Mr. Ang is also the chairman emeritus of the Manila Times. You don't see any conflict of interest there, that he works for the president and at the same
Hindi ko alam kasi actually yung mga special envoy, ang pagkakaintindi ko, kung ano lang iuutosin ng presidente. Kung meron kang
But of course, he
particular
has,
na magto-troubleshoot ka sa isang bansa, mapunta ka doon.
of course, he has access to the president, to the office of
I
the
don't know
president.
about his accessibility to the president.
And you don't agree?
I don't see him in Malacanang.
You don't think there's conflict of interest between his function as a special envoy and at the same time a chairman of the Manila Times?
Ano namang wala akong makita. Publisher lang naman siya Hindi naman siya nag-ano ng editorial. Diba? Ang publisher, hindi nakikialam sa editorial sa mga reporters
Okay, and
More on ano lang sila, profit.
the source of that
Kumita.
news item that he wrote came from the president himself.
Hindi ko alam.
is
Di
it?
ba, I told you, I don't think na binigyan siya. Kaya nga yung pinupuri ko, creative. In fact, I told you, ang galing nyo Naunahan nyo pa ako. Meron kayong tumawa lang siya.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay, Ralph and then Virgil.
Sir, any statement po sa passing ni former US Senator Richard Lugar po. He played a part po sa ouster ni late President Marcos.
Hindi ko lang nalaman. Hindi ko pa alam yan. Sino yung pangalan?
Richard Lugar po.
Lugar. Sige, I will look at his history and make a statement.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Virgil.
So you said earlier, regarding dun sa Canada trash, you said earlier na figure of speech lang yung threat ni Pangulo to declare war against
I'm just
Canada.
repeating the words of Delphine Lorenzana yata. Yes.
So figure of speech.
Yeah, tama. I agree with him. Figure, kumbaga, nakasar lang yun. But my statement, di ba, we will send them back to your shores if you don't get that. And the president last night, I think, was it last night? He said, throw them to your beach. O ako nga, shores lang. Siya, nag-beach na siya. Aba, totoo yun. Galit siya.
Gagawin niya, sir, na.
Hindi, papabalik mo. Hindi, siyempre, pinabalik mo.
What prompted the president, sir? Kasi
Hindi, kasi
biglang out of
tagal
the
na yun.
blue
4 years na yun, ano? 4 years na hindi nila ginagalaw. Buti pa yung mga Koreano yata na nawala na. Ibalik na. Parang pinabayaan na lang nila dito.
Follow up yan? Ay,
Sek yung itatapon sa beach. Hindi naman literal yun.
Hindi, figure of speech.
Figure
Basta
of
ibabalik
speech
ka lang. Kailangan ibalik na yun, kunin na nila.
So, kailangan within this week, Sek. Sabi ni Presidente.
O, edi gawin natin. Sino ba ang in charge doon?
So, yung
Kasi nasa container yun, di ba?
Yung sinasabi nyo, Sek, last time na mapuput at risk yung diplomatic ties.
Disruptive, ang sabi.
Yes.
Hindi ko sinabing mapuputol. I said disruptive.
Will be put to note.
Magiging irritant yun. Diba?
Pero hindi naman posible yung cutting of ties.
Hindi na. Disruptive lang.
So what are your expectations of this week? na po?
I suppose they will respond. Nag-respond naman sila na, di ba?
Oh,
Ang sabi nila, pag-usapan natin. Ang sabi naman na, hindi na naman pag-usapan. Tagal na yan, kunin nyo na yan. Hindi, balik na namin yan sa'yo.
okay.
So, antayin natin ang response.
So yung deadline na this week talagang yun na po yun.
Yun ang sinabi ni Presidente.
Ultimatum na yun. Okay, Sec. Salamat po.
Okay, follow up, Cedric.
Sir, yung sinabi po ni Pangulo na kaya natin yung Canada as far as going to war is concerned, figurative din po ba yun, sir? Figure of speech din ba?
Figure of speech nga. Di ba? Paulit-ulit.
Yung kaya natin sila, sir, literally, the President means na kaya natin silang i-head on. Kaya natin yung assets natin, capabilities natin, pwedeng tumapat sa Canada, sir.
Sinabi na nga figure of speech eh. Ha? Wala tayong kakayanan, no?
Hindi natin kaya, sir, in Canada, sir. Hindi natin kayang girahin yung Canada, sir.
Correct. Yun. Yun ang sagot.
Yeah, sir.
Yun ang sagot.
Yeah. Pero that's declaration, sir. Declaration, sir. Pero yung assets po, yung capabilities, sir.
Ano na?
Yung assets, capabilities natin to go to war against a big country.
Siguro kung mga hostilities lang, kaya rin natin ng mga ipaglaban. Hindi yung all-out war. Alam nyo, I don't think any country would want to trigger another world war because all of us will be annihilated. Nuclear magiging nuclear war. So, ang nakikita ko niya, puro magigirian lang yun. And then, palaging diplomatic pa rin negotiations ang makaka-resolve whatever conflict.
Sir, would you consider it irresponsible of a president to be blurting out such statements? Why not, sir?
Bakit naman irresponsible? 4 na taon mong tinapon yung basura sa bansa natin, hindi ka magsasalita ng gano'n. That was an expression of outrage.
Thank you, sir.
Couch in a very strong term.
Okay, follow up, Joyce, and then other topic na tayo.
Sir, dahil nabanggit nyo na figure of speech lang yun, pero yung ultimatum ni President Duterte, yun, totoo yun. So what happens if hindi nagawa yung utos ni President Duterte
Ba't
na
naman
tanggapin nila?
Bakit naman hindi magagawa? Kung may instructions
Pero
the
sir,
instruction
kung-
is kunin nila. Kung hindi nyo kukunin, kami magbabalik sa inyo.
So walang war, walang
Wala.
declaration of war.
Babalik lang
Ibabalik lang natin.
Tapo natin sa kanila.
Okay, last na tayo, Chona?
Sir, how serious is the president when he said na the government will not spend a single centavo to rehabilitate Marawi and he will just let the typhoons?
No, hindi nyo natin na presidente ron. Ang sinasabi niya, yung, di ba, yung nasira yung mga negosyanteng mga building sila doon. Dapat, ang sabi niya, kayong gumastos kayo dyan. Hindi mo pwedeng kami lang ang gagastos niyan. Unahin namin siyempre yung mga taong bayan, hindi yung inyo. You have to spend also for that. You cannot rely on us on that. You have to help us. Kasi ang priority would be the people there. Hindi yung negosyong nasira ng mga businessman. Kasi may mga pera naman sila.
Okay, yeah. Please state your name, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Creseling from SMNI po. Ano pong assurance
From
na
From where kayo?
SMNI, sir?
Ano yun?
Sunshine po. Sunshine Media, sir.
Sunshine TV.
Sunshine Media po.
Okay.
Sir, regarding po sa OFW sa Libya, ano pong assurance na binipisyo po ng mga OFW na naipit sa gulo sa Libya po? Kasi marami pong nagdadalawang isip na bumalik ng bansa po, baka wala po silang mapalagi.
Hindi, di ba sabi ko kanina, may directive na rin si Presidente kay Secretary Bello and he's already following the instructions of the President.
Okay. Last question. Celerina.
Sir, follow-up lang doon sa Marawi. So, meaning the President's statement is the government would still spend for Marawi. Tama po ba? Meron pa rin funds for Marawi.
Oo, di ba? Meron naman talagang funds ang marami.
So,
Pero hindi yung para sa mga negosyo nila.
Mhm. So,
Kasi ang naapektuhan, syempre, mga negosyante doon sa sentro, di ba?
Pero like, anong klaseng assistance naman yung ibibigay? Like, saan na lang nakafocus if ever yung
Hindi, ang
rehabilitation?
priority syempre yung mga tao. Sa tao tayo, yung mga nawala ng mga bahay doon, yung mga may sakit doon. Doon, yun ang unahin natin. Hindi yung i-rebuild natin yung mga building nilang nasira. Hindi yun syempre ang priority.
Okay, Henry, meron ka bang... Oh, yeah, Mike.
Sir, linawin lang natin na mas malinaw pa. yung yung nasirang building structures ng mga negosyante, hindi yun ipatatayo, ibabangon ulit ng gobyerno.
Sabi ni Presidente, dapat kayo ang gumawa ng diskarte nyo dyan. Kasi ang priority namin, yung mga tao sa Marawi muna. Yung mga bahay nila, yung mga nasaktan sa kanila, yung mga survivors nila. Pero kayo, dahil kayo naman yung mga negosyante, may mga pera naman kayo, tulungan nyo sarili nyo muna.
So meaning, may aasahan ba sila o wala sa government? Yung mga business sectors, mga milyonaryo doon sa
Sa
Marawi.
ngayon, sila muna. Yun ang sinasabi ni Presidente. Later, siguro, kung di mo kaya, o di mag-loan ka sa gobyerno.
So may aasahan pero hindi pa ngayon.
Mabait si Presidente. Pero kasi si Presidente, ang style nun yung kung ano yung pinaka-urgent need, doon muna tayo.
Alright, thank you.
Okay, may dalawa pang follow-up. Sorry, sir. Ace and then Cedric.
So for the record sake, just for a statement na klaro, tuloy yung Marawi rehabilitation.
So yes,
efforts.
tuloy ang Marawi rehabilitation, but the priority would be on the people of Marawi.
So when you say that, you're referring to people who lost their homes,
Yes.
who lost their livelihood, who else?
Who lost their lives, they're not surviving, yung mga injured.
Yung
Siguro, unahin mo rin yung mga ospital, di ba? Yun ang mga kailangan Hospital.
health facilities,
Oo, mga health facilities.
yung mga mosque.
Ang Muslim
na.
naman yun. Siyempre, may pera din yun.
Yung MSMEs,
Yeah. What's that?
micro, small, and medium enterprise, they are not millionaires pero negosyante sila. Pero
Ay,
maliliit lang, mabibigyan ba sila ng
Ay,
assistance?
I'm sure the President will help.
Bakit nabanggit bigla ni Presidente yung
Hindi ko alam.
Hindi naman
Siguro, sinasabi niya lang priority para hindi umasa. Kasi baka naman umasa sila kagad na pati gobyerno itatayo yung building nilang nasira.
hindi naman dahil kulang yung funds or yung resources for the rehab. Kaya we are setting priorities.
Alam mo, when you speak of funds na kulang, marami namang, di ba, nagdo-donate? Meron din tayong budget para doon. Pero, kailangan may priority ka. Dahil may pera naman sila.
May follow-up muna si Cedric.
Sir, yung pong dating pinabid out na parang blanket rehabilitation program, tuloy pa rin po yun, sir. O ano pong status po nun, sir?
Anong pinabid out?
Yung pinabid out, sir, I think mga
May
Chinese...
task force doon, di ba? May task force. Tuloy naman yung task force. Hindi naman nababago yan.
Ano nang status, sir, nung sa bidding nun, sir? Di ba parang dati...
Ano yung bidding? Hindi ko nakaintindihan yung bidding. Ano yung bidding?
Yung, kung sino yung rehabilitate, sir, parang mga Chinese yata rin yung nanalo dun sa bidding din, sir. Pero parang eventually nag-collapse din yata eh.
I don't know about the bidding. I don't know. What I know is there is a rehabilitation task force.
Swiss challenge.
Hindi ko alam yun.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, last na tayo. Na-miss kayo ng MPC, sir. Sorry. Nestor?
Sir, on another issue, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte said she's no longer supportive or she is now against federalism because it would only empower warlords in Mindanao. This is contrary to the position of the president and the government. May we have your reaction on this?
Well, every one of us has his own ideas on how to solve certain problems. Mayor Sara has her own concept. We respect that.
Given her influence, sir, hindi kaya tumaka-apekto dito sa pag-push ng government sa
Hindi
federalism?
naman, kasi sino ba magdi-decide niya on the framers of the Constitution? Hindi naman si Mayor Sara or si Mayor Duterte or Presidente Duterte. Still the framers of the Constitution that will decide, and ultimately the people of the Philippines.
So you don't see Sara Duterte's statement swaying the allies or public opinion regarding their support to federalism?
Whether or not it will sway will depend on each individual conscience of the members of those who will frame the Constitution. And ultimately, the people. Pilipino pa rin magdi-decide niya kahit nandun yun sa provision ng Constitution. Kung ni-reject yung buong draft, di wala rin. Pilipino pa rin.
So do you believe, sir, that despite the Sara Duterte's statement, makakakuha pa rin ng support ang federalism?
Depende nga sa taong bayan yun eh. Kasi there will be a clash on particular concepts. One espoused by one, espoused by another. Di pagpilian natin kung ano maganda.
So the position of Malacanang in the government stays, sir, na
Oh yes. Yes. And we welcome all other contrapositions and let the people decide.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, MPC. Thank you, Secretary Panelo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and People's Television Network.
Now I can have breakfast.